Welcome to another session on cultural studies. Today, the focus is on Janice Radway's essay, Women Read the Romance, the interaction of text and context, from her classic work, Reading the Romance, Women, Patriarchy and Popular Culture, published in 1991. Janice Radway is a literary theorist and cultural studies scholar. Some of her important works are Reading the Romance, published in 91, A Feeling for Books, published in 99, A History of the Book in America, 2008, and the American Studies Anthology, 2009. The gist of this essay is her analysis of the romance novel genre using reader response criticism or reception aesthetics. In fact, it is commonly argued that the romance novel has 5 basic elements: a sympathetic heroine, a strong hero, probably with a TDH or tall, dark, handsome formula. It's packed with emotion and tension. It has a believable plot, a happy ever after ending, etc. Some writers also use the BWWM formula, that's black woman, white man formula. Conventional literary critics define a romance as a story of chivalry, adventure, quests, intimate love affairs, obsession or attachment for someone, idealized pure love that is mysterious and exciting. It has a dreamy and imaginative ambience. In fact, it's not at all real. It's unreal. Some Gothic and escapist novels also belong to this category. And these type of writings or novels are seen in the ancient, medieval and modern eras. It's very interesting to note that some years back, Malayalam's dear novelist O.V. Vijayan was awarded the Muttathuvarki Foundation Award. It was a cash prize of 33,333 rupees. And then there was a debate. Should O.V. Vijayan receive this award, which is instituted in the name of a novelist who is famous for his romance stories in Malayalam, popularly called Paingli Kathakal? In fact, Muttathuvarki has a title, Padatha Paingli. But then today these debates are unimportant because the difference between the high and low has vanished to a certain extent. Popular culture has come, and the detective novels and romance novels are studied even by important critics like Umberto Eco, Roland Barthes, etc. It has become, or this discussion has become, part of the academia. Reader response theory or reception aesthetics focuses on responses of readers to literary works, not on the works themselves. Wolfgang Iser, an important theorist of this group, in his work, The Act of Reading, says, the readers fill in the gaps that are there in these stories or any story and makes it more intelligible. He also spoke of the concept of the implied reader and ideal reader, which was later taken up by Roland Barthes with his ideas of the readerly text and the writerly text. Stanley Fish, another theorist, in his Is There a Text in the Class, argues that the readers actually produce a text. He speaks of the interpretive communities. That is, readers within this community share reading strategies, values, assumptions, etc. Another theorist, Robert Joss, speaks about the fusion of horizons between past experiences embodied in the text and interests of present-day readers. Janice Radway, in fact, takes a part of this theoretical luggage into the essay. She begins her essay proper with the data that the Canadian publisher Harlequin Enterprises has put forth. That is, in 1979, they sold about 168 million romances all over the world. Even publishers like Fawcett and Silhouette have published plenty and sold plenty. Many other publishers also agree that they bring out 2 to 6 romantic paperbacks every month. Opinions on these books may vary, but one thing is certain. These romances strengthen and encourage patriarchy and the attitudes and values associated with patriarchy. The belief is that women can attain happiness only with the help of a protective man. The culture code is simple. Pleasure for women is men. It is important to understand the great popularity these type of novels have. Most analysts, in fact, ignore the day-to-day context of romance reading. Some new romances even reconcile changing attitudes about gender behavior with traditional sexual patterns. The problem is that these people look at text in isolation. They commodify the text and take the new critic's stand that the text is complete in itself. It is an artifact that is autonomous. Janice Radway agrees that reader response theories are complex, but they understand that the reader is responsible for what is made of the literary text. Literary meaning takes place when there is interaction between a fixed verbal structure and a socially situated reader. The theorist Stanley Fish opines that the literary meaning belongs to the interpretive communities that shape readers' activities. Most critics have not studied the role played or performed in the act of reading. It is important to understand and study what the entire act of romance reading means to women who buy books. There are certain questions that are often asked. How does women construct meaning? And how do women link the novel to life? Both these questions look very simple, but they need to be investigated. Radway develops a study from an in-depth ethnographic style interview with a group who are compulsive readers. Dot Evans, which is a pseudonym, is a bookstore employee. She has intimate knowledge of about 50 to 75 of her clients and their reading habits. She is 48 years old and has 3 children. She even brings out a newsletter to keep her readers informed of the various publication, novels, etc. Radway conducts 60 hours of interview in 1981 with 16 regular readers and provides a detailed questionnaire to another 42. Dot Evans has a bookstore in the community of Smithton, which is again an imaginary place. She prefers women to work and they should have pay parity. She wants women to have right to abortion and also is totally against the oppression of women. Romances have value and women will find the men they desire only there. According to Silhouette books, most romance readers are below the age of 40. 50% have been to high school. 45% have some college experience. 37% read 5 to 9 romances each week. 70% also read other books. These women do not prefer political measures to rectify their grievances. Most are obsessed with romantic fiction. There's another study by Skelly and White, and they found that 21% of total book reading public read at least one gothic or romance every 6 months. These readers are fascinated by the fantasy offered. It provides a sort of escape or relaxation, and moreover, it helps to divert attention from day-to-day problems. It's very curious to understand that many of these readers prefer romance reading over TV viewing. This is because reading provides a sort of cultural superiority. While reading, the body of the reader may be in the room, but she is actually not there. Her mind is roaming around somewhere. She is involved in the fantasy and in the fiction. Reading is educational, and in the process, there is also the act of learning. The Smithton readers agree that the romances that engage them are fantasies or fairy tales that end happily. The unreal lives and characters helps them escape to a different world. Such novels allow you to dream and pretend that the life is yours. It provides a sort of vacation from everyday life. It gives you no depression at all. There is in fact an intense sense of betrayal hiding behind these fairy tales. It allows escape from pressures and tensions as wives and mothers. Romance reading, in fact, provides a temporary declaration of independence. Reading such novels projects intense psychological needs of readers and also solutions for these needs. A very important romance novel writer, Nancy Shodrove, in her important work, The Reproduction of Mothering, argues that women love nurturance even as an adult, from the mother, from the daughter, or the caretaker. The male self is independent and autonomous, but the female is a self in relation to others. Therefore, it is only natural that an ideal romance helps to regain the identity in relation to the male. Men cannot satisfy all the needs of women. So, women turn to the act of mothering of the male and in the process reclaims that lost relationality. In fact, there are influences of Sigmund Freud in these arguments. Patriarchy prevents men from being helpful to women. Women enjoy being protected by fictive characters. Romance reading helps women to create a fantasy world where, as a heroine, she gets all the attention from man, is tenderly cared for, and protected by fictive masculine characters. Reading, according to Janice Radway, made the smitten women happy and content, especially if the reading was done in a warm bed at night. Romances are formulaic. They follow a pattern or a schema, and therefore analysis becomes easy. There is a method inside the work itself enabling the analysis. There are, of course, good and bad romances. But these readers don't prefer ones that are disgusting and filled with perversions. They don't like books where men abuse women, or ones in which there are multiple rapes, or ones in which all the distress and hurt caused by man is forgiven by the heroine in the last 4 pages. These readers also don't like works by Rosemary Rogers and Judith Krantz. That's because their sexual descriptions, perversions, and promiscuity disturbs them. The man should have only one woman, not many or several women. Beatrice Faust, in her work Women, Sex and Pornography, says that women like detailing of emotional link and not male pornography. They prefer empathy and tenderness. 20 romances analyzed show that readers like a beautiful, defined, immature woman and a brooding, soft, gentle-gestured man. Smitten readers like works like Flame and the Flower, The Black Leon, Shanna, etc. because these works show early marriage of the heroine and her gradual adjustments and evolution. Passivity is the core of romances. The ideal male finally acknowledges the worth of the heroine. It's just a wait for a sweet climax. In a bad romance, the cruel hero is always abusing. Stories with unbelievable subplot is also not welcome by these readers. Stereotypes of male machismo is not forgiven. They prefer a gentle hero with small misunderstandings. Gradually, one must realize that romance reading involves dissatisfaction and also disaffection. The ideal heroine is intelligent, independent, has a sense for repartee and a wonderful sense of humor. These readers hate Barbara Cartland's women, who are namby-pamby. They are not strong and courageous like the ideal romance heroines. These readers also don't like weak, passive, foolish individuals. The smitten women or the smitten readers often identify the wronged or hurt heroine and share her shock and outrage. But reading these situations helps them to release their pent-up anger. The reader is finally purged of discontent and restrictions by indulging in this fantasy. Romance reading provides a shortcut to escape from patriarchy. The romance novel business is a multi-billion-dollar industry, but the readers are dissatisfied. And there begins a challenge, or there appears a challenge, a question, and therefore a sort of resistance. Is the vicarious pleasure provided by romance reading necessary or unnecessary? Should romance reading end, and should real feminist activism and social change begin?